Hello and welcome to the second of our preparation videos where I talk through my preparation process ahead of the next session of the game. So last time we left off when our heroes had entered the fantasy castle, and now I'm actually going to be trying to figure out what happens next. You'll have to excuse me going to my normal boring backdrop. Turns out having a stupid dropped in backdrop is way too much work, and I am a very lazy man, which is part of the purpose here because I'm interested in what we can take from what we can do to make this the easiest possible process. And that's going to be a fairly simple process, actually. The main thing I'm interested in to start with is just setting up some locations. Now, we are in a reality TV show and we know that they're coming to Fantasy Castle. And that means this is going to be a castle. We already know that. That's fine. So I've created a castle courtyard location, an open area with gates in the walls to each side, and 6 towers around the edges. These are going to be where the teams stay. So our heroes come in. They're going to go to their rooms, and we're going to be introduced to their residential rooms. So these are effectively a round tower with a common room at the bottom, and then above it we will have a big we'll have their separate bedrooms upstairs above it. In the common room we will also encounter their fantasy castle roles, so we'll start talking about that. I haven't quite decided how I'm going to introduce this, but the idea is that in the game of the game show, we play this like a LARP, but a LARP designed by people who have never done any LARPing. So the design is horrible. The team are clueless. But each of the members of the different teams is going to be given some kind of fantasy castle role. And that means they're going to need to have an outfit, like a fantasy wear type gear that they're going to change into. So I want to put out there like the different types of outfit they can choose and give them a chance to decide what they want. I suspect that Arkwise will want to stay in there, want to stay in her pangolin armor. I suspect that Brad will go for a kind of barbarian look. And I suspect that I don't know what Anders will do. That's going to be interesting. So Anders is a character where I don't know what he's going to do at any point, and I kind of feel like Gwyn doesn't either, and that's a lot of fun. At this point in the game, that doesn't matter at all. Your character doesn't really need to have depth. We know enough about them to play them. We're going to find more as we go on. So I don't care if there's not great depth to the character. So I'm describing the castle rooms. The other central location is going to be the tavern, which is where the different teams get to hang out. And there will definitely be things like the pub quiz that we talked about during the first episode will take place in the tavern. I expect that to be quite a central location. That is very simple to describe because it's a cliched fantasy tavern. Has a single long table with stools along the sides and a bar where the tavern keep serves drinks. It's quite dingy, lit with candles and burning torches, but that makes it very atmospheric. Also, although it's lit with candles and burning torches, there are then like theatrical lights actually lighting around those to create more of a light effect. So it's not entirely lit by them, but it creates the impression it is, and that's what matters. In terms of the characters, I have the tavern keep. We have two categories of characters here that we're going to be meeting. We have the main characters of the... We have the other characters who are kind of like other teams, and we have the staff, effectively NPCs in the game. So the tavern keep is one of the NPCs, and she does a lot of the kind of day-to-day interactions in the castle. And so the tavern keep's need, as Trilogy defines it, is to provoke drama. Her job is to make the show more interesting. We also, now I have defined an NPC called the Duchess, but that's not right, because at the beginning I introduced the Merry King. So it's going to be the Merry King who is in this. We don't, the Duchess isn't here yet. So it's the Merry King's palace. And I'm going to quickly create the king as a new character, because I like the Duchess. She gets to hang around. The other NPC character we'll have is the cook. There'll be some pages around as well, like some kind of cute kids in little tabards and caps with feathers in who will lead them to their rooms. And that's kind of all the interaction we'll have with them. We won't talk with them much. We won't have much interaction with them. That's just a little, they're just a detail. There is no way any of them are going to get adopted by the players the moment they see them. You can check that because, of course, by now you should have been able to see this episode. So the other main NPC is the cook. Why is the cook going to be important? Because partly he is a cook who's catering for the castle, like in and out of character. So he's not really an actor like the other crew are, or he's an actor and a cook or chef. So he's going to be a bit anxious about how he comes across and whether his performance is working. The reason the cook is particularly important is because, of course, when we come in, the cook won't be able to prepare any food for them until they have gone down into the cellars and defeated the rats he's got a problem with there. Because this is the most hackneyed fantasy nonsense you can have. And so there's going to be a battle with some animatronic rats beneath the in the cellars beneath the castle if they choose to take it. If they don't, then we'll have to see what impact that has. One change that I have made now is that every character has an extra counter for popularity, and that reflects how well they're going down with the audience. So everyone has a popularity, and the more popular they are, the better things will go when it comes to the kind of end of round voting. Now, popularity is going to be dictated by how they're doing. Like, that's something that I can detract from on a failed roll, item 1. But item 2, it's something where they have a new move to have a new move that I've also given everyone called Confessional. And basically there is a little chapel in the fantasy castle where they can give confession. And confession in this regard is a little speech to camera. So they go into the private booth and they have a chance to talk to the audience about what they're feeling and roll this move. And on a full success, they can increase their popularity or decrease someone else's. On a partial success, they can only increase theirs. So popularity becomes a valuable currency as the game goes on. But also, while this is happening, we actually have there is something else going on in the world, which is going to manifest through some of these events. And that's going to be really interesting, I think, to play with. So yeah, that's sort of where we're at. It's been quite busy. The other part I've been working on has been coming up with the other two teams. I have tried to come up with a total of 9 characters. So I've got 12 characters here, which is a lot of NPCs to be juggling. And most of them won't get much screen time. Some of them may well get knocked off before we have meaningful interaction with them. So I've got quite a minimal summary for each one. But because I have, because of the way the NPC system works in Trilogy, I still have a look. I have a description for the character and I know what they want or what they need. So I can pick them up pretty easily if I need to, even though it's like 3 sentences for each one of them. And all of these basically are at least partly fish names. So you've got Ember Wrath, Mocky Trumpeter, Rockio Panoxis, through Tugs Gurnard, Shani Tompot, and Xander Mullet. And these are all annoying in different ways. Important that they are all to some degree irritating, because heaven forbid that anyone not be annoyed during this adventure. And it's always fun to create friction for characters. That's consistently a joy. So that's where I'm at. Tomorrow we'll see how it plays out, whether we use all of these. I have a few things planned. I don't expect their confrontation with the rats to take too long. In the evening, the characters are introduced to the Merry King, and he will give some kind of jovial speech. There might be a jester there. I haven't thought. Like, a jester seems like the kind of thing that no one really likes, but also the kind of thing that people assume will be there in fantasy. So I expect they would put a jester in. I think these dismal, awful content creation media corporation, I think they would do that, which is in its own way funny. So I'm going to just create a jester, and then that's most of my prep done. I actually did most of this a bit ahead of time because I thought we were going to be running a couple of weeks ago, but Stuart forgot what a Thursday is. So we ended up having to postpone, and then the week after we couldn't run anyway. So that's good though, because although I haven't been doing a huge amount of character work, like character creation, homework, I have had a lot of homework around the tabletop. Don't write your own virtual tabletop team. It's a terrible idea. So let's see how that goes. And thanks for visiting with me. Cheers.